Hey friends, let me ask you something that's been bugging me. You know that gorgeous storefront on your block, the one with the big glass windows? It's been empty for 2 years now. 2 years. Meanwhile, your favorite ramen spot closed because the rent was too high, and that empty space just sits there, like a missing tooth in your neighborhood's smile.
Here's what makes it truly weird. The landlord isn't lazy. They're not picky. They are choosing to keep it empty. On purpose. Sounds insane, right? What kind of business strategy is make $0? Well, buckle up, because the answer isn't on your street. It's hiding inside a pension fund in Norway. Okay, so here's where it gets interesting. Most of us assume the landlord is greedy or stubborn. But what if I told you they're actually trapped? Imagine you bought a house with a mortgage. Now imagine your bank said, if this house drops in value by even $1, we're calling your entire loan due. You'd do anything to keep that price tag high, right? That's exactly the cage your neighborhood landlord is sitting in. Here's the secret formula that controls your street. Commercial buildings are valued by their rent, not by their bricks. At a standard 5% cap rate, cutting rent by just $20,000 a year erases $400,000 from the building's value. Poof. Gone. Like magic, but the painful kind. That vanishing value can break a loan agreement overnight. So the landlord faces a bizarre choice. Option A, lower the rent, fill the space, and watch your building's value crater. Option B, keep it empty, collect $0, but protect a multi-million-dollar valuation on paper. It sounds completely backwards. But in the world of commercial real estate finance, an empty storefront is safer than a cheap tenant. Your neighborhood's missing tooth? It's not an accident. It's arithmetic. Now let's pull back the curtain on the real machine. Your landlord didn't write these rules. Wall Street did. Most commercial buildings aren't funded by a single friendly banker. They're financed through something called Commercial Mortgage-Backed Securities, CMBS. Think of it like this. Your landlord's building got sliced into tiny financial puzzle pieces. Those pieces were bundled together and sold to investors worldwide. And those investors, they wrote the rule book. Here's where the handcuffs click shut. Standard CMBS loan contracts have a brutal clause. If a lease covers 10,000 square feet or more, the landlord cannot lower the rent without permission. Read that again. They literally are not allowed to give you a discount. It's written in the contract like a commandment carved in stone. So even if a perfect coffee shop wants to move in at slightly lower rent, the landlord's hands are tied behind their back. But who are these investors demanding such strict rules? Here's the twist. It might be your own retirement. Pension funds from Norway, Canada, Japan. They pour billions into these securities. They need 6 to 8% returns every single year, like clockwork. Your future retirement check depends on that empty storefront staying expensive. If rents drop, returns drop. If returns drop, pension funds panic. So a retiree in Oslo and a ramen lover in Brooklyn are locked in an invisible tug-of-war. Manhattan's vacancy rate has blown past 20% because of this exact tension. Your neighborhood isn't broken. It's being optimized. Just not for you. So let's confront the myth head-on. You walk past that empty store and think, greedy landlord. But here's the reality check. That landlord is a puppet. The strings run through loan covenants, across oceans, into pension fund boardrooms. Cutting rent by $20,000 doesn't just lose $20,000. It vaporizes $400,000 in property value. That's not greed. That's a financial hostage situation. Here's what this means for you personally. Your neighborhood isn't decaying because nobody cares. It's frozen because a pension fund in Tokyo needs its 6% yield. The cafe you wanted, sacrificed on the altar of someone else's retirement math. Your block is collateral in a deal you never signed. So next time you see that empty storefront, don't just see a vacant shop. See a window into how global finance actually works? Interest rates set in Washington ripple into loan terms in New York. Those terms freeze rents on your street, and your street stays empty so a spreadsheet stays balanced. The misconception is that this is local neglect. The truth? It's global architecture, working exactly as designed. So here's your homework, friends. Next time you pass that empty storefront, smile. You now own X-ray glasses. You can see the invisible wire stretching from your sidewalk to pension funds across the planet. That's not just trivia. That's power. Share this with someone who blames the landlord. Tell them the real story runs deeper, through loan covenants, across oceans, into retirement portfolios. Understanding the machine is the first step to changing it. Class dismissed. I'll see you next time.